Hello everyone, I'm back again. Now, I wanted to do a video about something a little bit more fun, and I like to travel. I think that's something that's fun for me. I like going and seeing new things, learning new things, tasting new foods, and meeting people. And, well, maybe not meeting people who don't speak English, but I'm working on taking the apps to translate the words because I'm just not comfortable with that completely. But I am comfortable with and prepared to learn new things and have new experiences, right? So it's a part of growth. It's a part of being more worldly, and it also helps you to understand different cultures and why certain things are the way they are abroad, away from the United States. So it just, for me, being, it may not seem like it on here, but in real life, I'm more of an introvert. So going abroad or going anywhere, traveling outside of my comfort zone is actually good. It's good to do things that challenge you, challenge your mind and give you new memories and help to build, I think it helps to build my character. I can only speak for myself. But I do think it helps to build character for me, and it helps to give me a lot to look forward to and ideas for content to come on here. So this article is from this website called blackandabroad.com, or it's actually weareblackandabroad.com, excuse me. So the title is How I Travel on a Budget in Any Country, and it was written, this was last year, May 30th. Mateo Ascaripor, and he says #empower. So I guess this is the guy in the pink shorts. That's hilarious. So all of this on the side is killing me. I can't, is there a way I can get that off? I guess not. Ugh. I don't like that. Alright, let's see, make it bigger. Maybe that'll help. That's helping a little bit. Nope, it's not gonna help. Just gonna follow the words. Alright. I guess I'll just read and just deal with it. Money, the root of all evil? Maybe. But it doesn't make the world go round, regardless of if you're in Kampala, or Kentucky. If you're reading this, then you're like me. You want to travel the world without going broke within a week. You most likely have foregone frivolous luxuries like that extra pair of shoes you don't need, a night or two on the town with friends that depletes the personal reserve of your pockets, a delicious, albeit expensive, meal at your favorite restaurant. Steve Jobs, RIP, supposedly said, "My favorite things in life don't cost any money." It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. I agree with that. So the purpose of this post is to help you while traveling. Save what you can financially so that you have more time to enjoy worlds unknown to you. So let's get started. Now, I know that prices of goods and services vary from city to city and country to country. Hell, that's the point of a world economy, isn't it? So these tips are by no means the end-all, be-all of ways to travel on a budget in any country. In fact, I'd love, after reading this, for you to leave a comment with anything I may have missed. Sharing is caring. And then he's showing pictures, I guess, of where he went. That was in India. Okay. Oh, the top picture. Let me see. He doesn't have a description of the top picture, but it looks cool. Maybe it's in India as well. Rickshaw ride in the Byzantine labyrinth of Varanasi, India. Oh, he's the guy in the green he must be, or the gray or whatever the color is. He's riding the rickshaw, and he's in the rickshaw taking a picture. So he says, find the cheapest places to eat ASAP. As you travel, you may find that much of your expenses aren't taken up by transportation costs and various excursions, but food, regardless if you're paying a few bucks for a meal and more than a few bucks, food adds up. This is especially true in countries that are what I call money mirages. They look cheap on the outside, but can end up being much more expensive once you've been there for a while. This is because psychologically, we see cheap prices and often end up purchasing a higher quantity of insert whatever you like, which ends up depleting our funds all the same. For example, after seeing how cheap alcohol was in Cuba, a friend of mine started to buy beer after beer and mojito after mojito. Now, he got more bang for his buck, but still spent more than he wanted to. In fact, he probably ended up spending much more than he wanted to because of the money mirage that everything was cheap. I feel confident speaking for my friend because my friend is code for me. So your first order of business should be to find the cheapest places to eat. In many countries, these local eateries have specific names you can recognize them by. For example, in Cuba, the cheapest places to eat are cafeterias. Oh, that's good to know. In Indonesia, Bali, etc., they're called warungs or warungs. I'm working on my pronunciation, y'all. In Costa Rica and much of Central America, sodas, etc. The list goes on and on. But if you want to save, it's on you to find these places quickly and eat at them for majority of the time you're there. It's obviously okay to splurge once in a while, but eat majority of your meals in these places. And even though they're cheap, they often have some of the most delicious and authentic food. If you're in a developed, I use that term tongue-in-cheek. Cheap eateries may not have a specific name, but you can find them all the same. Ask a local, ask a taxi driver, phone a friend, etc. That looks good. That must be like a beer, or no? Maybe it's like a mixed drink. That looks pretty good though. This says, excuse me, it was delicious food in Vinales, Cuba. At $6, the meal was on the more expensive side. $6 for that, and you saying it's expensive, boy? Okay. In LA, that's like $30, so wow. But I see what he's saying, because you go different places and you eat a lot, and you're like constantly snacking on stuff. Yeah, it does add up after a while, especially like you go to Cuba for like a week. I can see how that could add up over some time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks, yeah. So he says the next section is take the number 11 for transportation. The cheapest way to get around any city is to take the number 11 as often as possible. I took the number 11 often in Cuba, opting to ride that for a few miles opposed to grabbing a taxi or a bus. The same for Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Kenya, Italy, and other places I've been. But wait, you don't know what the number 11 is, do you? Well, one of my best friends in Abu Dhabi introduced me to it, so I extend the same courtesy to you. Look down. Yes, look down at your legs. Left leg 1 plus right leg 1 equals the number 11. Oh, okay, this dude clever, right? Okay, corny, yes, very corny. I thought so too. What I'm saying is you can save a ton of money from walking place to place versus grabbing an Uber. Many countries have a hostile view towards it anyway. Taxi, or even renting a scooter or bicycle. For example, I'm currently in Bali and I'm renting a scooter for $15 a day. Oh, hell no. It fits into my budget, but if I opted to walk around or grab a ride here and there, I could be saving around $45 a month. But, Mateo, I can't walk everywhere. This is madness. You're right, you can't walk everywhere. Some places, like Australia, require that you use a car to get around most of the country. If you want to go anywhere a few hours away from your main base, you'll need to use transportation. So in that case, find the next cheapest form of transportation, typically a local bus or train, or some form of taxi that takes multiple people to multiple destinations versus just being for you. Note, If you can help it, never book in-country transportation before actually getting there. Somebody else said that too. They said don't book transportation because you can get there, and since they're not covered by like a national commercial board or like a Better Business Bureau, those little small mom and pop state sponsored transportation places like the bus place and the cabs and all that stuff, they can be out of business by the time you get there because of the way a lot of countries' economies are so unstable, you know, depending on where you're going. And politics and government is not stable. That little business can go, they can go out of business, take your money and run. So yeah, that's true what he's saying. I've heard people say that too. Don't book in-country transportation before actually getting there. He said here, I made this mistake in Guatemala and realized that if I had just purchased tickets while I was there, I could have saved $50 or $50. This is this is a, what is it called? A weary driver in Jordan. He must have taken the number 11 many times in life. Wow, he over here taking pictures of people. They don't even know it. He ain't even know it. You ain't even know. Drink less alcohol at restaurants, bars, and clubs. Yeah, I heard that too. They said go to liquor stores. It's cheaper. If you don't drink, ignore this. But if you do drink, pay attention. Alcohol not only gives you a hangover, but it drains your pockets. A year ago, I started to drink far less, only allowing myself 2-3 max casual beers with friends unless the occasion was planned. This isn't only a great way to save money before a trip. I'm sure if you do a quick calculation, you'll see how much of your money goes to drinks at the bar and the club. But it will save you a ton of money while you're actually in the country. Again, this is the same as food. Even if you're in a country where a beer is $1, it will add up. 1 leads to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to the floor. I could have put this in the same category as food, but wanted to single it out as it becomes one of the main ways people go off budget when traveling. You meet people, make new friends, possibly want to ball out a bit, and then realize you spent a lot more money in a week than you had planned for, and now you have less money to do more of the things you actually wanted to do. So here's, I guess, one of his friends drinking. His friend Annie making the most out of a ton of beer in Nicaragua. The next section is prioritize the tours you go on. Despite what Lonely Planet, Frommer's, or any of these guidebooks say, you don't have to go on every tour offer. You don't have to visit every must-see place that you've probably read about for weeks. Why? Because many of these places are intentionally hyped up. And then they slap a crazy interest fee for foreigners, which I agree with, who gladly pay it only to see something that isn't all that great. And that happened when I went to Puerto Rico. I will say that. There were certain things I was like, ugh, I could have stayed in the hotel for this. Then he says, and don't get me wrong, there are millions of amazing once-in-a-lifetime sights to see in this world. It's one of the main reasons I travel. But if you want to extend your time in a country, prioritize the tours you go on. Pick the top 3 to 5 you really, deep down in your soul, want to go on, and only do those. The rest will most likely, no promises given the negative effects of tourism, be there the next time you visit. Exactly. These are like, you know, really big. If it's like a really big deal, it'll be there. It's not going anywhere. Sleep in hostels, guest house, and local homes. So now he's talking about where you should sleep. Now this section, I haven't read this before. This is the first time you're reading it, the first time I'm reading it. Only thing I read before starting the camera to record was the title and the picture of him with the pink shorts. That's it. But this part I'm probably gonna disagree with because I don't do hostels because of the movie Hostel, and you could say that's immature. I could care less. I don't do hostels, okay? And they got a lot of them out here in LA. I just don't do it. They always look creepy in the pictures, and usually, yeah, I've had to turn some down because I was like, nah, this just look like y'all about to cut me up or something. But he says sleep in hostels, guest houses, and local homes. All right, dog. Okay, I ain't gonna do that. He says, if you're traveling on a budget, you really shouldn't be looking for more than a clean bed and possibly running water. No, I need like 3 to 4 stars. I could do a Days Inn, you know, I could do that. But if I'm gonna be overseas, I need to be in a hotel, sir, a resort that's all inclusive. That's probably what I'll spend a lot of my money on is the housing. So I can already see that. He says, seriously, you don't need Wi-Fi. Like hell, I need my Wi-Fi, boy. He said, go to a cafe. All right. You don't need hot water. What? Okay, he losing his mind. I'm about to skip the whole paragraph with this. What kind of bath he taking? He said cold showers are pretty awesome anyway. Okay. He said you don't need good cell service, and you sure as hell don't need someone to clean up after you. What? These are all added comforts that are great but unnecessary. They necessary for me, dude. I'm gonna have to roll on that. That whole paragraph was some mess. I'm gonna roll on. Instead, use hostel work. Okay, we gonna just pass that whole thing. I don't want to hear nothing about no hostels no more. Let me get back into my my reading voice. La la la. Okay. He goes on. He was on a boat, I guess. This is in Guatemala. All right. In regards to Airbnb, I'd avoid it. I rarely use it since hostels and all the other options I listed are far cheaper. But if I were to use a service to rent a place, it'd be inclusive. Okay, there you go. He said inclusive, like a inn. No, it needs to be all inclusive, like a resort. Yes. He says from volunteering to, I don't know, woofing and work away. There are dozens of other ways to travel on a budget in any country. As I said above, if you have other tips and advice, which I'm sure you do, please leave a comment and share the love so that other people can spend more time traveling and less time worrying about money. I'll leave you with another arbitrary quote about money I only recently read, but want to make you think I've lived by for years. Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. I don't like the fact that he quoted Ayn Rand, but okay. I guess she had some quotes that were insightful. And this is the picture of Mateo. And then it talks about his background, what he does. Instagram and Twitter at Ask Mateo. He's all right looking brother. Okay. I don't like the hostile idea, but you know. So I'm going back to the top here. I'm sure it's killing me. But anyway, that's the end of it. And you all do the same thing. Like, comment, subscribe. Give your comments as well. Any tips you have, because I'm thinking about taking a trip this year abroad. I would like to go to Africa, but I'm also looking at like Belize, Mexico, you know, someplace that's closer. Belize for personal reasons, but that I can get into later. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.